The day my daughter was born was supposed to be perfect, but it became a nightmare instead. Between the beeping of hospital machines and my wife's cries of pain, a stranger burst into our room demanding that we leave. And when the doctor finally walked in, what he said didn't just silence her, it made the entire internet explode. It started at 3 a.m., when Emily shook me awake. "It's time," she whispered, clutching her belly. I shot out of bed, half-dressed, fumbling for the hospital bag. My heart was hammering. This was it, the moment we'd been waiting for. The streets were empty, glowing under dim streetlights as I sped toward the hospital, adrenaline buzzing in my veins. The nurses were angels. Calm, professional, reassuring. They got Emily settled in a private delivery room because of her mild complications, extra monitoring, extra care. Everything was quiet, the air full of nervous excitement. I held her hand, whispering how proud I was, how close we were. Then the door flew open. No knock, no warning, just a slam that made us both jump. Standing there was a woman in her late 40s. Blonde hair sprayed stiff perfume so thick it made the air heavy. She held her designer purse like a weapon. "I need this room," she said, chin lifted like she was addressing peasants. The nurse blinked, stunned. "Ma'am, this room is occupied. We have other—" "I don't care," the woman snapped, cutting her off. "My daughter is giving birth and she deserves the best. Move them somewhere else." She waved at us like we were furniture. Emily squeezed my hand, eyes wide, whispering, "What is happening?" I stood up, trying to stay calm. "Excuse me, but my wife's in labor. We're not moving anywhere." Her eyes narrowed into slits. "You don't understand who I am. I'll have the administrator down here in 5 minutes." That was the first time I'd ever felt genuine disbelief and fury mix inside me. The nurse, voice shaking but polite, said, "Ma'am, please step outside or we'll have to call security." The woman crossed her arms, lips curling. "Go ahead." The tension in that room could have been cut with a scalpel. Emily was breathing through another contraction, tears in her eyes, while this entitled stranger stood blocking the doorway. When the attending physician arrived, Dr. Matthews, everything changed. He was mid-40s, calm, confident, with that quiet authority that doesn't need volume to be heard. He stepped in and took one look around. What seems to be the problem? Karen, because of course that's who she was, jumped at the chance to talk. Finally, someone in charge. "My daughter was promised the best room, but this couple refuses to leave. They're being unreasonable." Dr. Matthews folded his arms. "Ma'am, this room was assigned to a patient who requires continuous monitoring. It isn't available." She scoffed. "That's ridiculous. My daughter's in pain too. This woman?" She gestured toward Emily. "Looks fine. Move her." The doctor's polite expression hardened just slightly. "Ma'am, this is a hospital, not a hotel. We assign rooms based on medical necessity, not personal preference." Karen's jaw dropped. "Excuse me, are you talking to me like that?" "Yes, ma'am, I am. And if you continue to disrupt this patient's care, I'll have security escort you out." The nurse froze her mouth open. I swear I could feel the air lighten for a moment, like someone had finally stood up to the bully. Karen stammered, her fake confidence cracking. "You'll regret this. I'll be contacting the hospital board." Dr. Matthews smiled, that tired kind of smile people wear when they've heard the same threat 100 times. "Please do. I'll make sure they hear the full story, including how you tried to take a delivery room from a woman in active labor." Her face went red, furious, embarrassed. But she wasn't done. She yanked her phone from her purse. "You'll all regret this," she hissed. "I'm going live." I felt my stomach drop. She pointed her camera at Emily, who was pale, trembling, trying to focus on breathing. "Everyone look at this!" she shouted into her phone. "They're refusing to give my daughter the room she deserves. This so-called doctor thinks this woman should take priority." I stepped between her and my wife, my voice shaking but firm. "Turn it off. Now. She's in pain. Have some decency." Karen whipped the camera back toward herself, fake outrage twisting her face. "Did you hear that? He just threatened me. I'm being harassed." For a moment I wanted to scream, to tell her that this wasn't about her, that this was supposed to be our child's birth, not some social media spectacle. But all I could do was stand there helpless, watching this woman broadcast our worst moment to the world. Then Dr. Matthews calmly said, "Security will handle this." 2 officers entered within a minute. "Ma'am, one said you need to stop recording and step outside." Karen clutched her phone tighter. "Don't you dare touch me. I have thousands of followers. You'll be famous for this." Dr. Matthews raised an eyebrow. "Good. Then they can watch you being escorted out for violating patient privacy laws." And just like that, it was over. The officers guided her toward the hallway, her voice echoing down the corridor. "You'll all be sorry." When the door finally shut, Emily exhaled a shaky breath. "I just wanted peace," she whispered. I kissed her forehead. "You have it now. No one's taking it again." For the rest of the delivery, the room felt calm, sacred even. Our daughter was born a few hours later, tiny, perfect, peaceful. 3 days later, we were home exhausted but happy. I thought the whole thing was behind us. Then my phone started blowing up. At first, I ignored it, friends congratulating us, family checking in. But one message stood out. "Dude, isn't this your wife's hospital room?" Attached was a video link titled, "Entitled Woman Tries to Steal Delivery Room, Doctor Shuts Her Down, Hard." My stomach twisted. I clicked. The footage recorded by a nurse in the hallway showed everything from the moment Karen stormed in to Dr. Matthews' flawless takedown to her being escorted out. The clip was clean, respectful, and impossible to misinterpret. 2 million views in 24 hours. The internet went wild. Comments flooded in. "That doctor's a hero. Who does that woman think she is? Queen?" Karen strikes again. But not everyone believed it. A few of her supposed followers claimed it was fake, that the hospital mistreated her. Then more footage surfaced, this time from security cameras, and her defense collapsed overnight. Even the hospital released an official statement praising the staff for their professionalism and thanking Dr. Matthews for upholding patient safety. The video blew up on every platform. News outlets covered it, talk shows replayed it, TikTokers dissected it like a courtroom drama. And in the middle of it all, there we were, unintentional main characters in a viral morality play. Emily just stared at the screen holding our baby. "I can't believe this. We just wanted to have our child." I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The doctor became an online legend, people called him. The man who delivered justice. As for Karen, well, karma doesn't need help. Within a week, her name leaked. Internet detectives traced everything, her full name, her job, her social media. The same platform she used to seek attention now turned against her. Her employer, a real estate agency, released a statement. "We do not condone harassment or abusive behavior. Effective immediately, the employee in question is no longer with us." Translation: she was fired. Her daughter, who'd given birth quietly in another room, had to delete her accounts after being bombarded with hate. The irony was unbearable. Her mother's arrogance had humiliated them both. For a while I felt vindicated. Justice had been served. The world had seen what we saw, that entitlement has limits. But late one night, holding my daughter while she slept, I started to wonder if revenge ever really fixes anything. The internet had moved on to its next outrage, but the damage to everyone remained. A month later, a letter arrived. Handwritten, trembling lines across 3 pages. It was from her, from Karen. She apologized, said she'd been under immense stress, terrified for her daughter, blinded by panic. "I let pride and fear turn me into a monster," she wrote. "I'm ashamed of who I became." Emily read it twice, then folded it carefully. "I forgive her," she said softly, "but I'll never forget how it felt." I didn't respond right away. There was nothing left to say. We'd already lived through the worst and come out changed. Sometimes I still think about that morning, the slammed door, the shouting, the doctor's calm voice cutting through the chaos. And I realize now the real lesson wasn't about punishment or fame. It was about grace, about choosing decency even when it's the hardest thing in the room. Because in the end, respect and empathy should never be optional.